Hello, we are at the end of the module 3 and last topic in this chapter is solid oxide fuel cells. Okay, so under fuel cells we already completed the methanol oxygen fuel cell. The second one in our syllabus is a solid oxide fuel cell. Okay, it will be all the pattern of the fuel cells will be same, only the anodic and cathodic components used will be different. Okay, it is solid oxide fuel cell. As the name says, it will be using any of the solid electrolytes. Okay, any solid electrolytes will be used in this fuel cells. Okay, let us see to it. Here in the case of solid oxide fuel cells, the anode is made up of cobalt zirconium oxide and the cathode is strontium doped with the LaMnO3 is used as a cathode here. And electrolyte used here is solid electrolyte like yttrium oxide. And solid oxide fuel cells are the class of fuel cells which uses any solid oxide material as an electrolytes. It consists of two porous electrodes separated by dense conducting electrolyte. We know very well the fuel cells will be containing usually the two porous electrodes. Here as we are using a solid oxide as a electrolyte, so they both are separated by dense conducting electrolyte. At anode, electrons are liberated and the liberated electrons flow through the external circuit and reduction takes place at cathode. As usual, at anode, electrons are liberated here and the liberated electrons are flowing through the external circuit and will reach to the cathode, and the reduction of the active material takes place, okay, by with the acceptance of the electrons liberated at anode. Fine. And the electrolyte used here is Y2O3 with ZrO2. The anode is made up of a cobalt zirconium oxide and the cathode is a strontium doped with a LaMnO3, and the cell operates at around a temperature of 650 to 1000 degrees centigrade. So they comes under the category of a high temperature fuel cells. Okay, the fuel cells are divided into different categories. Low temperature fuel cells which works at the temperature of below 100 degrees centigrade. Okay, and medium temperature fuel cells means they will be working at the temperature range between 100 to 500 degrees centigrade. And high temperature fuel cells means they will be working at a temperature range of around 500 to 1000 degrees centigrade. This is the one high temperature fuel cell. And still last one is there, very high temperature fuel cells are there which work at the temperature range of above 1000 degrees centigrade. Okay, so solid oxide fuel cell is an example for high temperature fuel cells. And you know, here in this case of the solid oxide fuel cell, you can use any fuels like either carbon monoxide or hydrocarbons or hydrogen can be used as a fuel in the case of a solid oxide fuel cells. And the cathode used is the oxidant used is always the oxygen. Fine, no? Either carbon monoxide or hydrocarbons or hydrogen can be used as a fuel here. And the cathode is, you know very well, cathode is the oxidant which is oxygen. This is about the diagram of the solid oxide fuel cell. It is almost similar to the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell only, but there the electrolyte used is a potassium hydroxide. Here any solid electrolyte will be used. Solid electrolytes will be used. That is the only change. Remaining everything is similar only. And any fuels like either the carbon monoxide or any hydrocarbon can be used, or hydrogen oxygen. In the case of a similar to the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, we can here use a hydrogen and oxygen as a fuel and oxidant. This is the diagram. Through the anode and cathode electrodes, hydrogen and oxygen are passed, and at the center there is a presence of a solid oxide electrolyte. The electrons liberated at the anode will be passing through the external circuit and will be reaching to the cathode. There at cathode, the electrons are accepted and the reduction of the oxygen present there will be taking place. And coming to the advantages part of the solid oxide fuel cells, since all the components here are almost solids, least maintenance required, right? If the electrolyte is in the form of a liquid, there will be a problem of spilling or any problems like that, right? Leakage problems. As the components are solids, here least maintenance is required, and the electrode corrosion is eliminated here. The electrodes will not get corroded because the fuel cell is working at a high temperatures, so no problem of corrosion of the electrodes, and no harmful byproducts are generated during the operation. So it is environmentally friendly or eco-friendly. These are all about the advantages of the solid oxide fuel cells. That is least maintenance, no corrosion because of it operates at high temperatures, and no harmful production of any of the byproducts. So environmentally friendly. And coming to the disadvantages, it is high cost and complex fabrication. Okay, the fabrication is very complex. Okay, we have to use costlier materials here, all the solid materials, and the fuels used must be free from sulfur. Okay, here whichever the fuels we are using, that must be free from sulfur. If it contains sulfur compounds, it will be decreasing the efficiency of the fuel cells. Okay, so this is the last topic we completed with that, and in this chapter we have discussed about the alternative energy sources, and we started from a chemical fuels. Okay, and we studied the calorific value, gross and net calorific values, and determination of calorific values by using a bomb calorimeter. Then we discussed about the knocking and its mechanism in a IC engines. Okay, and then we discussed about the a connection to the knocking. We discussed about the unleaded petrol, anti-knocking agents, and power alcohol also, and also the synthesis of the biodiesel, which is one of the alternative to the diesel. Fine. And then we discussed about the fuel cells. Under fuel cells, we have discussed the construction and working of a methanol oxygen fuel cell and solid oxide fuel cells. Okay, and we also discussed in this chapter about the solar cells, construction and working of the solar cells, advantages, disadvantages, and the importance of the solar cells. So this is the end of the chapter. Thank you.